G'day, welcome to our first Melbourne preview, and I've got Darren Potter with me. G'day, Darren.
Hey Matt, looking forward to it. Should be a cracking meeting at Caulfield.
Yep.
It's been one of the disappointments of the last several months, the lack of meetings at Caulfield, given that Sandown's been out of play. Caulfield's the best track in Melbourne. It's the most consistent. It's the least affected by wind, which tends to produce really consistent results. So they've got a terrific track manager there.
Yep.
The track tends to play pretty fair. You know, there was a few anomalies with the most recent meeting, but that was a 9-metre rail that still raced pretty fair, even though they got off the rail. But back to the true tomorrow. They've had plenty of time. Not a lot of significant rain in the forecast. I mean, if it rains Saturday, it could be an issue, but it looks pretty benign, the forecast.
Yep.
So I'm going into the meeting expecting a fair track and strong form to come to the fore. And one of the other interesting things about the meeting is there is a lack of Caulfield form.
Okay.
There's been the one recent Caulfield meeting, but this meeting's being fed by some really dodgy Moonee Valley meetings. Two meetings at Moonee Valley that were just hopelessly biased.
Yep.
And where you had to be on the fence, you couldn't be more than 2 off the rail, you had no hope.
Yep.
And you know, some pretty solid Flemington form, which is reasonably reliable, but it's not Caulfield form, so it should make for some really interesting betting.
Yes.
And it's the first time in a while that I've found a lot of horses outside the market.
Well, that's good news, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. Like you know, as soon as you're out, I watched Dallas and Aaron's bit with Stewie.
Oh yes,
that was really interesting.
Yep.
Some great stuff in there.
Check the videos out.
The new site's a treasure trove of info for the punters out there. So for any budding, serious punters that want to up their game a bit, there's all sorts of great information on the new site. That
go digging. Yeah, exactly.
I've been doing a bit of digging. I've found
some digging. Yeah, we haven't pushed a lot of the new videos and articles yet, but we will over the next couple of weeks. But I'm glad you said that. There's even a catch up with you in there as well, I saw. Yeah,
that was Dallas and I talked about my Melbourne set and the Pro Better Live, which is sort of coming along okay. We're slowly getting out. I think we're warming up for spring, so I think it'll work very well once we get to the big meetings. But Dallas and your catch up with Mark, which went for an hour, was really good viewing. It was nostalgic.
Yeah. Mark
going through all those changes in the betting in the 80s and the 90s in the betting ring and Sydney racing and how much it's changed. It just reminded me of so many things that you tend to that have gone by.
Yeah. We don't get that chance on the Monday shows to sort of go back in time with Mark and Glenn, and we're going to do that. So Mark's up there now, and the Glens is going to have his own hour video, which could be interesting. But let's forget about the past and let's move on to today. And today being the Caulfield meeting. Just so everyone knows, Darren's set will be available tonight for Thursday night.
Yep.
And it'll be online now. You can grab it, and you also send an updated version every Saturday morning after the scratchings.
Yep, and we will be recommending some smallish bets, some win and place on some good priced runners. So if you want to take advantage of that, you're going to have to get the set.
Yeah.
Get hold of that early set, and hopefully, I'm sure this video won't be online before that set's gone out to the subscribers. So
we'll wait.
The subscribers will get first crack at those prices.
Exactly. All right, so we're going to do a preview, a fairly brief one, not as detailed as what we used to do for Sydney, but let's start with the first race in Caulfield.
Not as detailed, but hopefully we find more winners.
Just finding the winners is important, but we won't be going through giving out units like we used to do.
No units.
So the first at Caulfield, and I think Sunday Escape from memory's leading the market here. Yeah,
look, it's an interesting race. They're coming from everywhere. You've got Corsica Lad coming from a first up run at Grafton, and you've got a 3-year-old first up here in Just for Starters who's looks a dangerous runner but very hard to assess.
Yep.
Copernicus, who's a lightly raced 4-year-old they've decided to ride him for speed this campaign, whereas previously they've tried to stretch him out to 14 and 1500, and he looks all the better for it.
Okay.
And Aldino's solid 1400 metre horse first up. So it's a very interesting race, hard to line up. Cobblestone hasn't got a bad first up record, so I think it's an interesting start to the day. Not one where I'll be betting with any real confidence, but I'm a little bit interested in Copernicus, who's, as I said, been ridden for speed this time in, had 2 runs. First up won well, second up won extremely well at Sale, travelled beautifully and at a pretty solid tempo throughout and really hit the line nicely. So he should be able to get across okay from that outside gate. If he gets across, gets control and builds his tempo throughout, I think he'll be hard to run down. Obviously, Corsica Lad's a solid danger with Ollie on. It's a little bit hard to line up. Lyrics beat him at Grafton. Lyrics are sort of solid enough midweek horse, but you got to be careful of some of that Grafton form, because a few of the boys get up to a few bits of fun's a game. There's some funny games that going up there, and
no doubt about it.
Some of it can be a little bit unreliable, but Corsica Lad's got a solid 1,000 metre record. Sunday Escape's rock solid, but he tends to always find one a bit sharper than him at 1,000 metres. He's always in the money, and he'll be in the money again here from gate 1, but I wouldn't be surprised if one of them proves too quick for him. But that's really all I've got to say for race 1.
Okay. Race 2 is it's the 2-year-olds. Have you had a chance to go through and catch up with find your replays and your trials and your jump outs and all the fun that Melbourne 2-year-old racing is?
It is a task. It's not the same as Sydney, where
it's all
the trials
exposed,
and they trial on the same tracks all the time. With the same, with a normal barrier position and a normal finishing position. At Caulfield they tend to be different every time. Flemington are even worse. You don't know what you're looking at half the time. But I have gone and looked at all of them. But lining them up, there's a bit of guesswork. So it's 1400 for the 2-year-old. It's going to be a staying test, and we've got a few first starters here. Is there 3 first starters?
There's definitely 2.
Most wanted.
Most wanted. Was it the horse that was in last week that was supposed to be sold?
Yeah, I think so.
I heard them say they're going to sell it to Hong Kong, so obviously that hasn't happened for whatever reason. But any thoughts early doors on this race?
Yeah, look, I'm approaching this race. It's not what I'm going to get heavily involved in, but I'm looking for fitness here. I think fitness and seasoning 1400 metres for the 2-year-olds is critical. So I think this is a difficult task for the first starters. Vanderell's close to favourite, I think.
Is that right? Okay.
Obviously got a chance. Jump out was good. It was a 750 metre jump out. I mean, I don't know what you take out of that. So they're obviously pricing it on potential. I couldn't price it as sure as a
well, in looking at the Sydney jump out, 750 going to Randwick is never a good sign. So I'm assuming that sort of mentality comes through here.
And they tend to be a bit different in Melbourne. They do strange things, but I agree with you. A 750 metre trial doesn't sound like the right base for a 1400 metre race at Caulfield. So I think the horse that looks rock solid here to me is Greddington. He's run well in a good race at Caulfield previously. He's had a couple of runs this time in. His second up run was a city race at Warrnambool. Make what you will of that. But, it was a 35k race at least. He come from the back. He rounded up a Moody filly, I think it was. That was pretty well supported. So it looks okay. That was a 1300 metre race. Third up plus 100 metres. That's perfect for me. I like that. It was a heavy 10 at Warrnambool. That's a good fitness base. So at $9 he looks to be a rock solid bet to me. So
I think it's hard to argue with that.
Red Alto's a bit interesting, but it was a very slow race that he ran home well in at Mini Valley against the bias. So hard to line up. Sorry if I'm sounding funny, Pun. I'm freezing here. Typical Sydney. The sun's let us down, and now it's
I had the shivers
cold.
I had the shivers on last Friday's show, so it's not good. But hopefully you're on the back end of it. Race 3, another 1400 metre race for 3-year-olds this time. How have you lined this one up? A couple of the last start winners. Volcanic Ash was the horse that was good to you. Her story forms obviously held up. Back to the girls.
Raposo was in that race too. Volcanic form in that race has been rock solid. So another interesting race because they're, as is often the case in Melbourne, they're coming from different angles. Lazy Axel was a terrific. He won with the bias at Moonee Valley.
Yep.
But he was back from 1400 metres to 1200.
Okay.
And it was the last race of the day. Everyone knew it was an on-pacer's paradise.
Yeah.
And he somehow managed to lead that race, which the betting said he was going to lead, and I sort of got it late in betting.
It was well backed, yeah.
And it was just surprising how much early dash he showed. I think that sort of puts him on the radar a bit here, makes him an interesting runner. Hard to line up because it's not really form, but he showed some really nice signs there, and he's been a 3-year-old that's always had some potential, so I think he's in the mix.
Okay.
Volcanic Ash is a rock solid runner. I think he looks every bit a 7-4 chance for me, but he'll just get a perfect run, sweet spot. He'll be very hard to beat. He'll be in the finish, so the early price is takeable, but no prizes for tipping him. And Liberty Island's similar form line, run behind Raposo last start, back in distance here, looks okay. Should race in company with Volcanic Ash and be somewhere thereabouts, but there's other horses in this race that look a bit dangerous. Hard for me to get them in there, but like, strong hand, typical Darren Weir runner.
Yeah, it's always dangerous, aren't they?
Yeah. You have to watch the market with the Weir runners.
Yeah,
it usually tells you, but I think that the three I mentioned are the three prime chances.
Okay, it's hard to argue with that. Race 4, we've got 1200 metre for 3-year-old fillies this time.
3-year-old fillies, the 3-year-old fillies. As usual, we've got 13 fillies here, and I'm saying they'll finish very close to each other. So the best ride will be really probably win the race.
Yeah.
There's not much between them. It's probably a race that normally I'd prefer not to be betting in, but I marked one in single figures, but single figures. That,
you can only get one into single figures.
No. There's a lot of them. But I'm saying one of the horses I marked single figures.
Yeah.
Just single figures. I went to the market and she was $31, so
okay.
Probably not quite that price still there, but still plenty of 21 and 26 and so forth. She's not well drawn. She's going to need to be well ridden by Craig Newitt, but the horse I'm talking about is White House Lady. So first up, pretty sure it's first up, well, not even second up, she ran in the same race as Kiavari, who's the favourite in this race, at Mornington, and their runs were very similar. They finished within half a length of each other. There was nothing between them. Since then, White House Lady's had 2 runs at Moonee Valley on the bias track. She's been in the absolute wrong spot both times.
Yeah.
Both runs. Well, her last run was good. She finished within striking distance in the worst. She got the absolute worst of Moonee Valley that day. She was back and wide.
Yeah, I can see it was rated $8 at the time as well.
Yeah, it was just
no luck. Yeah,
it was a good solid run. Like on a fair track, she would have been right in the finish.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure about her at 1200, but at a very big price, I think she's worth having.
Okay.
A small bet.
All right, race number 5, Pilly's Wish heads the market here, and it's been pretty good for us over her time, hasn't it? Or his time? Her time. 3-year-old fillies.
Yeah, these are
mares.
These are mares.
Yeah.
She's a 4-year-old. Pilly's Wish is racing well.
Yeah.
She showed herself up a bit last start. She had the perfect run. I expected her to race away and win that race comfortably.
Yeah.
And she almost got swamped by a lot of horses. It wasn't just one horse, it was a lot of horses.
Yeah.
I'd like to be really hard against her here. I tried to find ways of getting her right out of it, but I couldn't. So she's still in there. She's got a chance, but I'll sort of be betting around her here.
At the current prices.
Yeah, I just think she's vulnerable. She's ready to be found out by something different. I just wish there was a mare in this race coming back from a open race.
Okay, yeah.
Something like the Dumas, for instance. It's been racing in those open sprints. It would be deadly in a race like this. But there's not one that fits that bill, unfortunately. So I've sort of gone searching a little bit. I thought Northern State's an interesting first up resumer. A recent jump out was solid. She finished last prep with a really good win over Miss Soft Hands, I think it was.
It was, yep.
She's more than capable of winning this race at double figures. So
Okay.
I think she's interesting. And Fine Approach comes through the same form line as Pilly's Wish, finished half a length behind her. She drew gate 1 that day and raced the majority of the race except for the last 200 metres on the fence, which was no good. So I think she's value as well, but pretty even mares race. Pilly's Wish will be thereabouts, but I think she's under the odds and she's ready to be beaten.
Okay. Let's hope it's time that her reign comes to an end. 2,400 metres next for the stayers. The 3-year-olds, which probably a few of these are trying it for the first time, if not most of them. So,
yeah, nearly all of them, mate.
Yeah, so how do you see this one, mate? I notice Montu is quite short in the market considering it's quite a distance jump, and our mate It's About You comes back from Sydney and back home.
Well, they're all distance jumping. Cuban Fighter's the only one that's been up over these distances previously, and he's not really a chance here. The interesting thing about this race is we've got a pacemaker here in Zarspeed.
Yep.
Who's in the race. He's got a chance. They all could get tired chasing him. So it's a big field. They'll string out. Gaps will open up. The favourite's drawn the outside gate, and he takes forever to wind up. So I can't imagine Ollie will be able to get him in the race early. So he'll probably go back and then either make a bit of a mid-race move or just wind it off on the turn. I'm talking about Heavy. He's a big gangly horse that seems to get in his own way and takes forever to... Like, a couple of times he's been asked at the 600 and he just looks like he's going completely nowhere, backwards.
Yeah.
And then he winds up and has made terrific late ground in all of his last 3 runs.
3 runs at 2,000 sort of is...
Yeah, that's a good base. It looks good. It looks like he wants 2,400, so he's going to be very popular.
Yeah.
He's about his right price. He just needs a good ride to win, but
luck and
it's Mark's great pearl in staying races is saving ground. This is going to be a fast run staying race. This horse has drawn 19. The horse in 20's out, so he's going to be at the outside gate of the 16 that'll go around.
Yeah.
He looks like he should be a confident top pick.
Yeah.
But there's something saying to me that he's a bit of a sucker bet, and they'll be plenty keen to lay him late. So I'm just not sure where he's going to end up from a price point of view. He's hard to sort of. He looks like he's got the best form. So well, there's a little bit. That race at Radical 1's a little bit suspect because they were going very slow late.
Okay.
So
they slowed right down. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
So Heavy's the key runner. Monto, to me, looks like they've just been getting him ready for something. But now he jumps from a mile to 2,400. Surely he'll be on pace here this time, which gives him a bit of a head start on Heavy. So I agree with you. He looks well enough found. I'm not sure where else to go because there's a big team of them and there's a lot of debris in this race. Yeah.
Well, that's fine. I think we'll leave that one to the set to work out. We'll leave that to Saturday maybe for updates.
Yep.
The next is the Bletchingly, the feature of the day. So one of the many foes of the punters, Lord of the Sky, runs around again, and he once again holds favouritism at about 290.
Well, I've got no feel for this race at all. So what are your thoughts, Matt? What do you have a look at this race?
I did have a bit of a look. I watched the lead up of the Lord of the Sky, and I just couldn't find enough excuses for him. Obviously he was wide, but in the end of the day, so was the winner, Miss Promiscuity, and
no, it's best to be wide. That day,
well, exactly. So it wasn't an excuse. It seems as though he's a horse that sort of needs to be the perfect race, the perfect draw, the perfect. Everything needs to go his way, and at 290, I don't think I could be with him. You're probably going to drift, I'd say.
Well, I'd be plenty happy to lay him.
Yeah.
he's a funny horse. Like,
isn't he?
How did that horse just get murdered by Miss Promiscuity? How did it run second to TJ Smith?
The Chautauqua, yeah.
On putt, and then same in the Goodwood, pretty hectic race. He's just, he's a really hard horse to figure out. He seems to go better interstate when maybe they stop halfway and he enjoys that or something.
Yeah, right. But, there's Petrology is a fairly interesting runner, I suppose. Early doors, I think it shows a lot of potential. Then it had an off season, and then last season they put together a couple of wins and a couple of placings, and it's been talked about. It was quite strong in the market, I suppose.
Yeah.
And Angels Beach obviously ran second to Miss Promiscuity. Why is Miss Promiscuity not in this race?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
does that say that the connections they're not that convinced of their own form lines? Is that maybe some sort of giveaway?
No idea where she is. I couldn't imagine her winning that race that she won. This is a perplexing race because there's not strong speed in it, really.
Yeah.
Like Lord of the Sky should be able to get to the front, but
yep.
he hasn't been jumping with much zest for a while now because they tried to get him to settle, which they needed to, and since then he doesn't want to go early. So if he got control of this race, he raced anything like his TJ Smith form, he'd win it. But can you trust that? I couldn't trust it.
No.
Angels Beach sort of only looks to be just going. She was a bit better last start, but it's not a strong race.
Yeah.
That Miss Promiscuity won. Rich Jack's not. He's the other on pace runner, but he's not really up to it. So I didn't know. I couldn't find where to go really. And Smoke and Joey's off a pretty short break.
Yeah. Pretty fit, pretty fresh.
Yeah, couldn't rule him out. He could round these up. So I don't know, if they're running on down the outside, he's the only horse I'd really be interested in, but it's a race that I'm not going to get involved in, to be honest.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. Race 8 is 2,000 metres for the 3 and 4 year olds. Just a select bunch. So we have, once again, we've got the likes of Refulgent, Radical, Clairvaux, Word of Mouth. There's a few horses in form here, isn't there?
Yeah, well, it's a 3-year-old form, the Radical race.
Yep.
Manageress.
Yeah, Manageress further down.
Manageress, who cost us a fortune last night when she rounded up Kansas Sunflower late.
Yes.
Running into the older horse form, it's not easy to line it up. The Radical race could be okay, but they were going slow there late. I'm just not completely convinced.
Okay.
He's the favourite, so I'm sort of a bit ambivalent towards him. Word of Mouth he ran against the older horses last run. He was incredibly short, so he's the SP profile horse because he started so short and probably a harder race last start, and he did sort of try the circling run, which again, going back to Mark's pearl about staying races, often brings them undone. And Darren Gatchy saved all the ground on Lord Durant, and sort of that helped him outstay them.
Yeah.
So Word of Mouth sort of is there, but hard to be confident about him. He looks a little bit vulnerable as well. I'm not really interested in Clairvaux. I think the big win at Flemington was he spent all of his chips there.
Yeah, massive win, wasn't it?
Yeah, Refulgent's just become a non-winner. So unless he was extremely well backed as a weir runner and which would indicate he's about to improve 3 or 4 lengths, you couldn't be confident about backing him. So I found it a bit of an odd race, and I was happy to look for something different outside the market. And I really like he hasn't got a good record, this horse, Pompeius.
Yep.
But his last run was particularly good. He was on pace in a fast race.
Yep.
He was only picked up late by a Basso, who went on to win in a much harder race than this at Flemington last week.
Okay.
And I thought at $26 he was a terrific chance. So he'll be on pace here, and I hope he can keep going and give us a big run for our money at big odds.
Okay, sounds good. And Michael D's riding pretty well, isn't he?
Michael D, he's the 2 kilos as a bonus because he's riding as well as most of the seniors.
Beautiful.
The one thing we forgot to mention about this meeting, which will be the focus of the media.
Okay.
This is the Williams and Oliver thing all day. That's all the media will be interested in.
Jockey challenges, yeah.
So I'm not even sure if I found either of them much all day, but they'll be, it'll be good to have the 2 most senior riders with something to focus them and make sure they're going flat out all day and not playing any silly buggers. So
yeah, and certainly it seemed like it switched Hugh Bowman on yesterday in Sydney. He rode 4.
Yeah, he's very laconic, Huey, isn't he?
Yeah.
He did a good job yesterday. Well, don't talk about it. I bet in Sydney yesterday, and I just want to thank Jessica Taylor for ruining my week yesterday. Like, she was on Bradbury Lad or whatever it's called in the last yesterday. She crossed to the front, and halfway through the race just decided to give the fence up, which allowed Collar to sneak through from the box, hit the front, pinch 4 lengths on Chasen, who was the horse I desperately wanted at $8, and
and you felt agonisingly short.
Yes, so thanks
Jess.
Jessica. Well done.
Cousin Jess.
Yeah. Right, is it?
No. The final race, we love 9 races in Melbourne. Bit of extra turnover.
Always 9.
Yeah. Look, good values. Good value and Diametric have spent some time in Sydney. Good values obviously had another run back home. Lord Durant commanding time. Miss Rose Delago, Falago. There's a bit of form here.
Well, it's mixed.
Yeah.
It came from every angle. You haven't got Miss Mossman coming from New Zealand, so.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You've got good value coming up in distance. Diametric sharply up in distance. Only second up after being scratched a number of times.
Yeah.
Obviously avoiding wet tracks. Then you've got the 2,000 metre horses coming back, and you've got strong pace in this race. So, on paper, it looks, to use Vince Arcadi's phrase, a sweet spot race to me, where they'll push along several lengths above average, and you'll need to be pretty fit and preferably racing around about that 5 lengths off the lead mark, I would say, and so the horses in that area will be favoured. Whether that means they'll win the race, I don't know, but the runner here that's to be talked about is Falago, who's the rear runner, who had a number of runs. Falago that he got off Chris Waller, and a number of runs around sort of what you would call something in between midweek and Saturday level.
Okay.
He was sort of competitive at midweek level, couldn't get within 2 lengths at Saturday level, and was starting around that $10 mark. And then all of a sudden, last start, he was heavily backed. Started $5 in the Saturday race, sat 3 wide, no cover, throughout, and won by 2 lengths. I find it perplexing. Like it was his, I'm not sure, it might have been 7th run in or something this time.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, all there.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
He had plenty of runs.
6, 7, yeah, you might be right.
7th or 8th run, and all of a sudden he found 3 lengths, and the market knew he was going to find 3 lengths, and there you go. So I don't know. Do you price him off at that level?
Does he spend his chips? Does he spend his pennies, or can he produce it again?
Yeah. So if he reproduces it, he's the rightful favourite.
Yep.
So the market will probably tell the story there.
Okay.
Commanding Times, ready to do something?
Yep.
He was the only survivor of the on-pace group in the race won by Lord Durant 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
He'll do it tough up on pace again here, but he's a winning chance at double figure odds. Good value fits in there somewhere. He's only ever had one 1,800 metre run. It was back in 2011. So it was a long time ago. But he did okay then, and his form's rock solid. He should race about 3 to 5 lengths off the pace, so he's a chance. Stablemate of the favourite, Ginger Boy. He's a pretty solid horse in this distance range. He's probably a step up in class for him, but he gets a big weight drop. They always love the big weight drop. Chris Parnham rides well, so he'd be a chance at big odds.
Yeah, he does ride well.
Yep. Diametric, couldn't rule him out, but I can't find him with this prep. It doesn't look a prep that gets you excited, does it?
No. Look, he was sort of primed up for a big run, I thought, first up, and the Houseman race, but he ran it up. He ran into a dead end, but it's not the sort of base you want to run a strong 1800 as a
no,
second
it's
up.
going to be a strong race. So, yeah, I mean, it's probably the right kind of race for him if he knew he was really fit. You know, he probably wants a pretty solidly run 1800 metre.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't settle if they go slow.
Yep. Yeah, it might be okay if that's
Might be
the case.
okay.
Yeah.
Lord Durant's become not quite a back marker, but a midfield runner all of a sudden, not an on-pace runner. That looks alright here, but he's going to have to slot in from that wide gate. That won't be easy.
No.
So there's a lot of chances. Miss Mossman's very hard to line up. I couldn't get her in there, but she might have a chance. Miss Rose Delago, she doesn't look like a 1800 metre horse to me, but I could understand having fans here. So it's an interesting race. There's not too many you can, like the only two you can, well, there's probably three you can dismiss. Hannaford, Hot Power and Nisos. Stratigraphy maybe, but the rest of them all look to have some sort of winning hope. So good betting race to finish the day.
A good betting race, and we'll know more as the day unfolds, I suppose, with any patterns and some money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
it should be a great betting card. As I said, the lack of Caulfield form makes it interesting. I've been able to find some horses outside the market. I'm sure there are others that I've overlooked that other people will find. It's not a day where the favourites are obvious, really, and I expect that to make for a really interesting betting card. Hopefully, our subscribers and us finish well and truly on the right side of it. It's the most excited I've been about a meeting in a while, because
that's good.
It's just a good mix, and we're a bit outside the market. We've been playing in the market for the last, and we're having a lot of, marginal meetings where we're either having small winning days or small losing days. We've had the one really good winning day at that was at Caulfield too, wasn't it? The last Caulfield meeting here.
Yeah, no wonder you're excited.
Yeah, Caulfield's always good. So I'm looking forward to it. Should be good.
Okay.
And good luck to the Sydney boys at Canterbury.
Yeah, exactly right. The Canterbury Saturday meeting. So as we said, Darren Potter's stuff, you can grab it on our site. It's $55. There's an interim which goes online Thursday night, and an updated set which gets sent to you Saturday morning. So Darren, thanks for joining us.
No worries, mate.
And we'll be doing this a little bit longer while you're in town.
Absolutely. Any of the viewers out there that have got suggestions for ways we can improve the show for you, send them in to Matt and we'll have a look at it.
Yeah, exactly, and you can get the updated set during the day through Pro Better Live. That's also on the website. So see you next time.
Thanks, mate.
Bye.